Welcome, everybody. It's Fausto from CyberTraders. I am super, super excited to have one of my long-term friends. I haven't had such a long time. I love this guy more than anything. I'm actually so fortunate to have him on that, he basically speaks for himself. My friend Tom Sosnoff, one of the legends of basically started this whole thing. But Tom, thanks for being here. It's always been a pleasure. And sorry for the background, everyone. I'm actually, in Aruba right now. But I could not. Hopefully, Tom was a little upset. He said, "Yeah, he's in 1 degree weather, and I'm right now in 90-degree weather." But listen, so I'll try to do the best I can. Tom, how's it going with you? How you been?
I'm good. Feel good.
You look.
I'm just trapped in Chicago. With like you said, it's about 2 below right here right now, but it's all cool. It's good.
I know the only time you travel is when you're doing your speakings. That's the only time when you're doing it,
Yeah,
right?
like I've been on the road pretty much on and off for the last 25 years, and so yeah, I don't travel that much. I don't travel that much like for myself, like vacations and stuff. And also I think my wife's done with me, traveling.
Ah,
We're good for like weekends. We were in Vegas. I think we were in Vegas last weekend, so that was fun. But like little trips and stuff, but not that many. I don't take weeks in Aruba like you do.
I
It's
know, I know.
not that I can't. I just don't. I just don't for whatever reason.
You know what it is? You're so committed to your show. That's why you're there. I always remember you. Like
Yeah.
I got to be back as long as I'm there for my hour show, and it's great. But no, you definitely changed the whole
Still a
the whole
workaholic,
market.
so I'm a pretty nasty workaholic. So that's it.
You sure are. Which is one thing I wanted, and I'm glad that you bring that up because that's how I think this whole thing came to fruition. I mean, I know you. Just tell everyone a little bit about how I know Tom. It's got to be how long? About 20 years now? 25 years?
Oh yeah, well,
It's
we
been
met back in the early days of us building Toss, and I would say it was probably before. I'm guessing it was probably before 2005. So I would say it's been over 20 years.
been 20
I don't
years.
I don't remember exactly the year.
I remember exactly the time I first met you. I don't know if you remember this. So we were at the Money Show. It was a Trades Expo in New York, and we had the Marriott Marquis. And JJ had a meeting with me, and he says, "I want you to meet, Tom Sosnoff." I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to meet the founder of one of the big brokerage firms." Is trying, and it's funny when you came out of that brokerage firm, you really just changed everything. I mean, you literally had balls. I mean, you came out, you literally just like you were going up against the big ones. You were going Fidelity. You were going up against, Schwab. You were going all of them. It just came out of nowhere. So it was great, and it was a great conversation. You say, Fausto, you're like, I want you to do some training. I do options. I know you like the day trade and stuff like that, and want to kind of tell everyone about us. That's all you said. That's all you said. It's all you said. Just tell everyone about us. That's all it is. And look at you now. So you started. and
I'm still
the funny
alive. I'm still alive.
Well, and you haven't changed. You haven't changed other than did you get a new hat?
Yeah, a different color about 10 years ago. That's about it. Yeah.
Now, that was now the funny question is, people probably don't know this about you, but I remember asking this question about Tosh. How'd you come up with the name?
Toss. Oh, ThinkOrSwim. I made it up. I was walking through my living room one night, and I was like, and I came up with the name, and we were just deciding kind of what we were going to build, and I came up with the name, and I'm like, holy shit, this works perfect. And I called, and what I liked about it, the name ThinkOrSwim, was that it wouldn't. We still had our exchange membership, so we were still members of the SIBO at the time. And Scott and I didn't want anybody to know what we were doing, so we came up
Right.
with this name, and the name didn't mean anything to anybody, so it was good. Um, so we liked it a lot, and then we knew we had a winner when Crane Chicago, which is a business newspaper in Chicago, came out, and a reporter for Crane said, "New startup in Chicago launches brokerage firm with name ThinkOrSwim, worst name ever." So that at that point we knew we hit it. We hit it like, oh my god, we finally got a name that that's got a little bit of virality to it, and it did.
Well, you know what it is. I always tell everyone, bad publicity is actually good publicity. So just get on Cranes is just like
No,
hands
I
on
didn't
that.
even think it was. I didn't even think it was bad publicity. I just didn't think she had a clue. I mean, I just like the name, and it was funny because we always thought the name I used to joke with the CEO of TD Ameritrade when they bought us out. I'd be like, Thinkorswim's going to be around longer than TD Ameritrade. He'd be like, over my dead body. And today, Schwab still uses Thinkorswim, and TD Ameritrade's gone. So it's pretty funny. It happened that way.
No, and then how did it come about with Tastytrade? Then how did you come up with that name?
So I thought of the name Tastytrade, and it's a crazy story because I thought of the name Tastytrade, and I bought it back when we owned Thinkorswim. I bought it with the company credit card. It was $9.95, like on GoDaddy, Tastytrade. And the reason I bought it was because I wanted to build. Thinkorswim was a software platform, and I wanted to build a web-based trading interface to complement it. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to have a funky name for it. So I was going to build Tastytrade was going to be the name for the, web-based version of Thinkorswim. And in the process, we got bought out before we launched it. So we just tabled the name. And in the negotiations, when they bought us out, one of the things I negotiated for was this domain name for, that I didn't negotiate for a lot. I just was like, this is the salary I want. This is because I never worked for anybody before. I go, I want this domain name. And I remember Fred Tomczak, who was the CEO of TD, goes, what name do you want? I go, it's tastytrade.com. And he goes, why do we own that? He goes, I hate that name. And I go, I bought it with the company credit card. So technically, he goes, how much is it worth? I go, I paid $9.95 for it. He goes, it's all yours. And so I took it. And then when we launched, we've always, him and I have always joked about this ever since when we launched.
Did you give him the $10 back?
No, they invested. He was our first investor. When we built Tastytrade, TD Ameritrade was our first investor. Fred's like, I hate the name, but I think, I love you as an entrepreneur and I hate the name, so I'm going to invest in you no matter what. And they invested in us. That's all.
You know what? It's really the platform, the people behind it that really kind of make the name. It's like if I told you I had an idea that I want to tell people about my life, what I do all day, you'd be like, why would you do that? Right. And it's, well, what happened to Facebook? That's what it is.
There's people put so much stock into, I think, sometimes the wrong thing. It has nothing to do. Names aren't really that relevant. I mean, of course, there's some important stuff with branding and virality and usability and all that kind of stuff, but or just the visualization of stuff. But the reality is, it really is the people behind it. It's the people, it's the motives, it's the good faith, it's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, listen, you're an educator like me, and you run a podcast and and you run your show. What inspired you to get into the talk show business, though? I mean, I remember when you sold ThinkOrSwim, and then I'm like, congratulations, it was great, and so on. I'm like, so what are you going to do? You're going to retire? And like, no, I'm going to go back to work. And I'm like, why? I'm like, you just did so well. So, but you started that show. Like, what inspired you to do that?
Well, it's a little different. So, life's strange. And when you're a junkie, I'm kind of a junkie. And when we built ThinkOrSwim, building new technology that would change kind of, trading and options and stuff like that was super cool. And we changed a lot of stuff. Like we built really wild technology that was focused on a lot of things that nobody had ever focused on before. And we also tried to lower prices, transaction costs dramatically. But in the process of doing all that, we recognized that there was one piece that was missing. It was the content side. Mm-hmm. And after we had completed the sale, I was like, CNBC would drive me crazy and Bloomberg would drive me crazy. And I just didn't understand why people would listen to other people I just don't get why somebody telling you what they think is going to happen in the market is interesting. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care what person A or person B or person C or person 50 tells you about what they think the market's going to do. It doesn't mean anything to me because I know that nobody knows. And I also know that really good traders don't focus on what other people think. They focus on whatever their own mechanics are. They focus on what they think, what they believe, whatever mechanics or processes they use to trade with. So I wanted to build something that was content, not education. I
Right.
never for one day considered Tasty to be education. I didn't want to compete with guys like you. I didn't want to compete with the whole universe of people out there. And I only wanted to build financial content that was 100% quantitative. I'm kind of a math geek, and I wanted, quantitative, statistical, probabilistic um, content that nobody had ever done before. And everybody said, well, that'll never work. Nobody cares about, everybody wants to know what somebody thinks. Nobody wants to know, nobody wants to know some math formula. And we said, okay, well, we'll see. And we decided to mix that up with, some of our own crazy antics and, stories and lives. And the one thing we said when we built Tasty was, if you work here, your life is public tomorrow. Like there's no more holding back. You can't, everything, you have to be an open book, and everything about you has to be, exposed. And people were like, that's not for me. And other people were like, all right, I'm in. And so that's how it started. And we, this is before there was really podcasts, before there was kind of digital content. We were pretty much the first.
No, you were. I'll never forget it. I remember going to your first studio and
Yeah, you were there.
And they brought you that big ass cookie.
You were our black and white hero, and not black and white in the racial sense. You would bring us black and white cookies, and from a local bakery by you that were amazing, and we would basically roll out the red carpet for you. Bagels and black and white cookies were the Fausto food of choice, and we used to look forward to your visits.
And you know what? Everyone's like, "You're gonna bring them that stuff?" I was like, "You know what? Now it's just like it's like a goof, but it's like an Italian tradition. Like first, always bring food to someone. Don't go to someone's house without bringing something. Very disrespectful. You never do. I always yell at my kids. So going to you, I brought you something, and then all of a sudden you guys loved it. I'm like, you know what? I'll just bring it all the time. Why not? But the problem is I had to carry it through the airport, and then everyone wanted to steal. And then the security guards wanted to take it from me, and so on. But
like the old Seinfeld episode of who doesn't bring a cake? I don't know if you remember that episode, but they're sitting in the back of the car going, who doesn't bring a cake? And if you go back to the, I don't know if you remember, you're probably too young for this, but I think it was Woody Allen did a movie back in the day called Bananas. And it was and it was a movie where when he went to visit like this corrupt dictator in some country, he brought a bakery box, just like wrapped up bakery box of cookies and stuff like that. It's classic. But you're right. Everybody brings something.
Yeah, you got. Well, next time you invite me back, I'll bring you some new black and whites and some fresh. Because your bagels must really suck over there, no?
They've gotten much better.
Got better. All right.
Yeah, Midwestern bagels are competitive now.
All right.
Bagels around the whole country have gotten better. They're competitive.
They're terrible here, though. Well, they because now they're exporting them out more. But over here they're terrible where I am. But anyway, they're not the healthiest thing for it. So, regarding about your journey that you started the company, everything else. So, I mean, I know you were a math guy and so on, but I know so you were an educator by trade. You love teaching people. You love talking to people, stuff like that. We have a lot of traders in here, and some of them are starting out. They're just trying to learn. They're trying to realize what's for them or not. What kind of challenges have you encountered, helping people to get over the hump so they could start knowing what to do? Because people get too emotional. They analyze things too much. They listen to too many people. You know what I mean? So what do you kind of advise people starting out? What should they do and not do?
Well, it's kind of funny because so I'm an advocate for self-directed retail investing. I've never been anything but that. Meaning that we build software for individuals, consumers. We don't build institutional stuff anymore. We don't build, everything we do is public. Everything we do is for individual investors. What I find is the most important thing that we do is we focus on engagement. Like what I try to do is I try to get people excited about finance. There's only, I can give you mechanics. Like we have we're going, by the time I leave Tasty, we'll have over 1 billion views of our content. I mean, right now we're up to like, well over almost 3/4 of 1 billion views or something right now of Tasty content. So we produce 17 hours a day of content now live, of which we post everywhere. And so my real goal is just to get people engaged and just say, hey, you know what? Here's everything we've done research wise to optimize all the mechanics, all the numbers, all the probabilities, all this stuff, build all this technology. But in reality, I just want to show you that, hey, you know what? Some kind of, I'm not even sure how normal we are, but finance is really interesting. And here's the reasons why I find it so engaging. And I try to present that as a picture, somebody that's, I think they just look for, I think people get intimidated when they're first starting out because they think finance is dominated by big hedge funds or hedge fund managers or prop traders or high frequency traders or all this kind of stuff. And I think they feel like they're disadvantaged. And I really just want to go out and say, you know what? You're not disadvantaged at all. Your technology is better. Your access to content is better. Your ability to execute because you're smaller is better. You have preference on most exchanges, which is better. You have virtually no fees, no expenses, nothing, which is all better. And you get to do whatever it is you want to do. You're not forced to make markets. You're not forced to take down, to add liquidity. You're not forced to do any of that stuff. So the edge is, I shouldn't say edge. The opportunity is there. And I just try to get people engaged. Just, hey, here's why we love the business. Here's where we see the opportunity, and you figure it out. I'm going to give you all the tools. I'm going to give you the technology. I'm going to give you all the content, but you figure it out. People have to accept responsibility on their own for wealth creation. People have to learn that in order to build wealth, it's on you. And if you win, you own that. Like, you didn't make money because Fausto taught you something. You didn't make money because Tom Sosnoff taught you something. You made money because you figured it out. And if you lose, you didn't lose money because you listened to Joe Blow, to Kramer, to Fausto, to Tom. You didn't lose money because of that. You lost money because sometimes the stocks win and sometimes you mess up. But the other side of it is when you're successful, you own that wealth creation. And that's all I want to really impress upon people.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because, I agree with you 1,000%. When I was a market maker, and we didn't have the technology like they have today. I had to pay $25 a ticket. I had to pay $1,000 for the software, to get level 2 quotes. I had to split the profits with another company. You got everything. It's really on you. But I think there's people, probably just getting a little bit, I don't know how to say, but they get too emotional, and maybe they're getting just overload technology wise, maybe, maybe it's too convenient for them. But I always feel like the way I also learn the best too, which is what we do at CyberTrading University, is like, you got to be part of a team too. You just can't do this by yourself. You got to work with somebody. I mean, you worked on the floor. I mean, you got some funny stories. I don't know if we can even get time to get into that, but I always feel like when you surround yourself with good traders, you become a good trader. You surround yourself with bad traders, you learn not to be a bad trader. But that's what I always find.
I think trading, especially as a retail customer, can be extremely lonely, which is why, we do things like Tasty. You do things like what you do in these kind of podcasts and webinars and everything else. And I mean, there's plenty of places to engage in some form of community and that kind of stuff. So I think that's something that's evolved over the last, 20 some odd years. And with the improvements in the technology, one of the nice things about today's markets is that you can really trade any marketplace and they're all virtually the same. Like it's just, there's a little bit of nuanced know-how required for certain products, but for the most part, everything's pretty much the same. And the challenge today is capital efficiency more than it's anything else. It's just knowing how to use your capital and how to put it in enough different places that you're somewhat diversified both by product and by strategy. And it's also, the other challenge today is understanding what opportunity really is and how to stay fully engaged. And if you can master those few things, this is a pretty cool space to be. It's a pretty cool business. It's what I love, and it keeps me going still after 4 decades, and why I'm still doing a podcast with you and doing all this stuff, and why you're still engaged, is every day is different. Every day is challenging. Like, nothing is obvious. Might have lost Fausto there for a second. Hopefully he'll come back. But I know he's we
You
got
guys got
you
me
now.
okay?
We lost you for a second. Yeah, so we'll Fausto will pop back on. He's just remote, and so he's having looks like a little bit of connectivity issues. But I mean, to continue down that same path.
Okay. Tom, I think just say we're just getting a little technical.
Yeah, no, my connection's fine. I think it's on your side. Yeah,
it's on my side. Well, Tom, could you show us the platform a little bit more about some of the mistakes that people make and what they should look for and stay away from, and a little bit more of and also where Tastytrade, any new technologies coming out with Tastytrade?
Sure. Happy to go that direction. I have a platform up actually in the background here, so we can talk about it. But I think that on the surface, I think what's important for people, once you take a step back in the whole world of finance, once you take a step back and you realize that it's hard to just be right all the time, and sometimes it's a little more fun to be, hey, I want to be a little more strategic. Hey, I want to diversify into more than one thing. So I have a little bit of, let's say not all my positions are so highly correlated. And also I think it's important that you experiment with lots of different things, and with things that make you a little more capital efficient, and things that give you a higher probability of profit. I think that's all really important. But let's see, Fausto, I'm going to try. I've never used this platform before, but I'm going to
Yeah, right down the bottom, it's pretty much the same.
Okay, so it should say choose what you want to share.
Yeah, enter screen. Click on enter screen on the right, and then just pick on your screen.
Okay, let's take a look. Let me try this again. It says share screen.
And pick the screen you want to share.
I'm having a hard time seeing what screen. I don't see it pop up. You want to hang on. Just give me
right down
second.
in right in the bottom, you have like those 5 little boxes in the middle. It says share screen. Just click on it, and then where it says Chrome window, entire screen, a window pop up. Pick up the screen you want to share.
Yeah, none of them popped up. Hey, hang on. I have a whole production team right here. Let me just go grab them for 1 second and ask them if they'll do this. Okay.
Go grab them. I want to show everybody what we got going on over here. All right, so just wait till Tom to get back and share that screen. But if anybody has any questions that you want to share, by the way, I'm sorry if my internet's a little bad, but working Aruba is not like living in New York where they got good technology here. But we'll try to do the best I can with sharing the screen. But does anyone have any questions regarding want to ask Tom? Just let us know. Oh, he's back. Hold on. There we are. All right.
Does that work?
Does that work?
Yeah, there you go. Let me share this. There you go. You got it.
Beautiful. Hopefully you can see everything. I have it all kind of set up a little bit different. Let me just give me 1 second. Yeah. If you can see the screen, we're in business. Perfect. Okay. So happy to talk about anything you want. Where do you want to go with this?
So, basically show us a little bit more about like what's new coming out with thinkorswim. What new technology are you doing? Is regarding about the
Thinkorswim, I can't
platform?
tell
I know
you.
you got like golden.
Thinkorswim I sold 15 years ago, so that one I can't tell
Sorry. It's Tastytrade.
you. So with Tasty,
Let's go.
we actually have a ton of we're constantly pushing out new stuff. I mean, right now we're in the process of improving. We just launched a whole program called Look Back. So inside the platform, you can do your own back testing and things like that. We have, I mean, the difference between Tasty and other pieces of technology that we've built in the past is really just we streamline the platform. So it's about speed. Tasty is the only high frequency platform the only platform built on high frequency technology that exists for retail customers. So it's very fast and it's very stable. And Tasty is designed with one simple interface in mind. So where most platforms have lots of windows and lots of different, things that move around, Tasty's designed to be all in one place so that whether you're trading stocks or ETFs or indexes or futures options, everything is from the same interface. So for example, like right here, this is an option montage for, let's just say, if you were trading spiders, just as an example. It's a very simple option montage. But if you wanted to go over and you wanted to trade something like, just because it's moving a lot today, and you wanted to trade gold, okay, you just click on gold and you're in the exact same interface. And everything looks the same. So whether you're trading a future, whether you're trading futures options as in gold, I mean, everything is virtually the same. Like, just to give you an example, I have a very small gold position on in this account. It's a 2-lot strangle. You can see it right where my cursor is on the right-hand side of the page. And if I wanted to make a quick adjustment on this platform, like roll up the untested side of these gold puts, I just make a click here, adjust price, and route an order. And as you can see here, here's my working order. I just put it in at mid price, but here's my working order, and everything literally takes like a second or less than a second. I mean, we're filling orders on this platform at 23, 25 milliseconds.
Okay.
And everything goes from the same lookout. I mean, I know you like, charts, and there's multiple charting packages in here. And we just have lots of different layouts. The connection's not great because we're on this like little whatever's happening right now, but we have, hang on, let me just show you this for a second. We have a lot of things that are a little bit different than most other platforms. With respect to trading, we have lots of different views. We have like a curve mode, we have an active trader mode, we have a grid mode, we have full crypto inside of here. We also have a pairs mode. So there's lots of different things that can happen on this platform. We also have a full, for example, a full follow page. So if you want to see, for just like, let's say everything that I've done today, you can follow kind of all my trades by just clicking on Tom here, and it'll pop in all the trades that I've made today. And these are all Tom trades. Here you can see them all. You see my ugly face right there. And then these are all trades. These are all trades that I made today already. So probably, I don't know. I mean, I started off this morning getting out of some Baidu positions, and then trading some Meta and PLTR and a bunch of different stuff. I didn't trade too many commodities. They just a few contracts, but mostly different equities. But I probably made, 40 or 50 trades so far today. And here's every single trade.
The trades that you're making, right?
Yeah.
Like, some people don't understand it, because when I used to actively trade, I used to do like 1,000. I used to do like 100 active trades a day. People ask, like, why do you do so many trades? Why don't you just stick with just a few? Like, why are you doing so many of them, bouncing around all over the place? And how do you keep track of all of them?
Well, you certainly could. I mean, I do a lot of trades every day because I have a lot of positions on. Just to like give you an example, like here's a position tab, and these are all open. These are all open. That was just to fill in gold. These are all open positions that I have on currently right now. So, like British pound, Canadian dollar, euro, Japanese yen, gold, S&Ps, S&Ps, Russell, um, you know, natural gas, bonds, notes, corn, wheat, soybeans, and then Apple,
So
Adobe,
you
and
do a lot more commodities more than just equities.
no,
Looks
I
like
do everything. Yeah, I've
you have
usually about 80-20. I'm usually
80.
about 80-20, 80% equities and about 20% commodities. That's kind of the breakdown at Tasty for most of our customers. We're about an 80-20 firm, 80% stock, ETFs and index options, and about 20% futures and futures options, maybe a little bit more, maybe 22%. We do about 1% of our business in stock, which is small, but people don't come to Tasty to trade necessarily stock, even though it's free on Tasty. And then we do about a 0.5% of our business is digital assets. So if you wanted to trade Bitcoin, ETH.
Yes, that was my next question. I was going to ask you, how did that change? Tastytrade when crypto was, now you could trade options towards it.
No,
Did you see a big jump?
there's no crypto options per se. I mean, you can trade like on
Yeah,
IB,
I did, right?
you can trade like IBIT.
Yeah,
Like this is, you can trade options on that, which are, the iShares, Bitcoin options. It's not
right.
the most, they're not crazy liquid. Like if you look at the money here, well, they're about a nickel wide. So you can definitely try like, I don't know if you have an opinion. Are you bullish or bearish in Bitcoin?
I was very bullish. And I'm not saying because because it's up now. Now I'm kind of like, it's not really going anywhere. It's kind of flat.
Mhm.
And I just feel your money's more valuable to move somewhere else. I mean, I own iBit. I own it for a while. I got in, I got out, I got in, I got out. It's not going anywhere. But I mean, I guess you could probably sell some covered calls on it and make some money on it,
You
probably.
probably could. I have no position on an IBIT, but if I wanted to put a position on right here, just to give you an example, like the market's 197, $2. And if I wanted to get a little bit short in here, the first thing I can do is I could offer him a 5 lot at 199. I'm not filled. If I go down to one, this is what I don't love about IBIT. It's not the most liquid, but if I go
Yeah.
down to 198, I should be filled because it's a 197 bid and I'm not. So this underlying, the reason I don't love it, I just got filled. So I just sold calls at 198 because now they're the bid. But just to kind of, what I wanted to give you was an example of how easy everything is on this platform. Like my working orders would show up here, but I'm already filled. My filled order shows up here. My little graph shows up here. This is everything. And if I put another order in, I just have to go down here, and here is the entire order entry page. Everything happens right in front of you. This gives me my probability of profit of selling these calls 74%. This gives my probability of, this is a Monte Carlo simulation, giving my probability of keeping at least 50% of my profit from what I sold, 50% of the premium I sold. This gives me my delta on this one trade 5 times, 5 times 40 or almost 200. This gives me my beta weighted delta. So this takes it and beta weights it to the S&P 500. So I know how this impacts my S&P 500. What's cool about Tasty also is we're the only platform in the world that gives you CVAR, which happens in the worst 5% of all situations. So this kind of tells me what my outlier risk is here, which is about $7,000 on a 5 lot, worst 5% of all cases. This shows me a max profit, just under $1,000, and my max loss, which obviously in this case is infinite. And this is your buying power, which is a little bit different in this case because this account is a portfolio margin account. But I bring this up because what's cool about Tasty is everything is right in front of you. So whether you're looking at your activity, whether you're looking at your trades, whether you're looking at your graphs, whatever it is, whether you want your history, it doesn't matter. And if I wanted to, just to show you on the platform, what's kind of cool is we have basically everything built into here. So if I wanted to, just even back test this, for example, I could. It's hard to load on this, on whatever kind of software you're using for this demo, but we have full back testing here. So I can test anything I wanted to. If I want to test an iBid or anything else, I can test, long calls, long puts, short calls, short puts, and any kind of spread. if you wanted to go back and back test for as long as you want, any of these underlyings, just if that helps you at all. Our goal is for people not to overanalyze stuff. Our goal is to give you everything on a simple page so that you don't have to use, you don't have to go look for everything. But the other cool thing about Tasty, which no other platform has, is we also offer something called order chains, which is over here, which basically shows you every single trade you made in relation to an initial opening trade. So for example, if I sold a 5 lot of IBIT calls, and then I decided to go out and sell a 5 lot of puts against this and turn it into a strangle, I can track that trade from inception to when I close it out and see how we're doing on the trade. It'll track my P&L, it'll track everything about this trade from inception to close. And that's kind of like, that's kind of a cool thing. We like it.
Now the fees go. How much are the fees on them, man? Now they're free?
Fees for Tasty are stocks free, cryptos free, and futures depends on what kind of future, because the CME has different charges, but let's just say it's around $1. It depends. Micros are like 70 cents. Minis are like between $1 and $1.25. And then options, we charge $1. We have from the day we open, we charge $1 contract, but we charge nothing to close. And here's the coolest thing. We have a $10 cap on anything you do. So you can never pay more than $10. So if you're out there and you're somebody that likes to trade, 100 iron condors or something, or we charge $10 a leg cap. So then it's 10 cents a contract. If you like to trade 1,000 lot, it's 10 cents. It's $10 cap. So it's a penny a contract if you do that, that kind of stuff. So we've always, from day one, we've always charged $1 contract, 0 to close. So you can always close a trade for 0. And then with a $10 cap, so you can never pay more than $10 for any leg. So if you trade a 50 lot, it's not $50, it's $10. So everything is capped at $10.
I also like your platform, getting back to your ThinkOrSwim versus the Tastytrade one. Now it's nice because you can move those screens around, right? A little bit more.
Yeah, well, you can, but we didn't design it for that. ThinkOrSwim was an amazing platform. We built, it was my lifeblood. I mean, I basically worked day and night in that platform for 10 straight years and loved everything about the platform, but we threw a lot of stuff at it. So it was a little bit bloated and it was a little bit slow and it wasn't as stable as we would have liked, but it was an amazing piece of technology because it changed the whole industry. When we built Tasty, it's the same dev team and the same designers, the same CTO. But we decided to do was to get rid of all the bloat, focus on speed, stability, and simplicity. Like we didn't want people to go, we wanted a better look and feel. We didn't want people to have to go to different pages. Everything in front of you so that it's conducive to trading. So Tasty is the most active trading platform for retail investors in the whole world because people trade more on this platform than any other platform. So, and just because of the simplicity and because you can trade everything, from a single interface. Like I showed you, I sold a 5 lot of calls in IBIT on this thing. But if I wanted to, and let's just say, let's say I wanted to, for example, because this morning, I was, I wanted to trade some bond options. And so let's say I went to March options in bonds. And let's say I go over to, let's see, this morning, what are we selling? Some 113 puts. So if I want to sell 113 puts, it's the exact same way to trade. Like you trade it the exact same way. Go to the 113 puts, click on the bid, and you're selling them. If you wanted to click on the sell on the offer, just raise the price. If you wanted to change these to the 112 puts, just drag it down. And for complex spreads, we're the same way. If I wanted to sell the 113 puts and buy the 111 puts, you just click on that. And if you want to change the width, you just drag. And so everything is super simple here. If you wanted to add a naked call to this, you could sell a call as well. So there's just so many crazy things. Like if I want to do an iron condor in bond options, boom. Like that's just the simplicity of the platform. That's really all it is. We just made it so it's super simple and nothing is set in stone. Everything is configurable by the user. So, for example, so if I wanted to sell a bond option, I'll just put an offer in on the offer and would do it the exact same way that I would sell an equity option if I was doing it like in IBIT. It's the exact same way. So people are not going to be, and there I'm filled on my bond option on the offer. So, so now I have short puts in the bonds. I'm effectively buying bonds right here because bonds just had a nice little downtick.
So now everybody wants to know why Tom trades so much. You did what 4 trades since you've been here?
Well, yeah, but I'm not doing much. But like another thing that I want to buy is I'm a buyer of notes here. This is the 10-year note. And I like the 10-year note here because I think it's getting down cheap, a little bit cheap. So before I just did an option in bonds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a bid in to buy notes. I'm going to put a bid in one tick on the bid. And you can see right here, but it's the same exact layout. Like if I wanted to sell stock, let's just say I wanted to trade Meta, which is down $19.
Look at, I own a lot of Palantir. What do you think? What are the options? Yeah.
I don't own any Palantir.
PLTR. What? Come on. That thing's like one of the hottest stocks moving right now.
Sure.
Huh?
So let's just say I wanted to sell Palantir, just to give you
an
example.
Don't sell it. It's got to go up. Don't sell it.
Maybe it will, but let's just have some fun here. So the market is right now, let's just call it 70, 72. I'm going to sell some stock. So I just shorted some stock at 121.70. That's not the point. The reason I wanted to show you this was because we trade stock the exact same way that we trade futures, the exact same way that we trade options, the exact same way that we, for example, let's say I go to Palantir and I wanted to sell an out of the money call spread. So the 140, let's say the 140, no, it's too narrow. Let's say the 135, 140 call spread. These markets are not the best in the world, but let's just say we want to do this small because I don't really care about Palantir. And let's say I wanted to sell it at mid price of 110. So I routed it sitting over here. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because everything we do it the exact same way. Like nothing we do it differently. Like we want to sell stock, fine. We sell stock the same way. We want to buy an option, buy a future, buy trade a futures option, trade digital assets, whatever it is. We trade everything the same way on the platform. So mechanically, it's super simple. And that was the key for us for building new technology in when we started to build Tasty. We wanted something where it normalized and commoditized the technology that retail investors need to use for trading. And the reason for that, Fausto, was that we wanted people to focus on a real differentiator, which is the content, which is the optimization of the mechanics. And that's why we said, we'll build you the best technology, but now focus on the stuff that makes you into a better trader, which is optimizing your mechanics.
You had a question in here from some minister from YouTube. When you come to Canada, or are you coming to Canada?
Tasty finally got approved in Canada 2 months ago, but we don't have anybody that will clear our business yet. So we're working with another new firm. We've basically been through every firm in Canada, but nobody wants our business. There's a reason for that. Our business is kind of complex. It's a lot of options. It's a lot of futures. It's a lot of spreading. It's a lot of future spreads. It's a lot of option spreads. And nobody in Canada has a sophisticated enough back end to support our clearing business. So we've been through every firm. It took us almost 3 years to get approval. We are fully approved in Canada, but we have nowhere to clear our trades yet because the Canadian regulators require that you clear trades in Canada, not in the US. So that's our challenge right now.
That's it's always been a challenge for Canadians. I know we've been up there. I think that's one of the places where we originally met was up in Canada in the beginning when back in the old days. But it's been a big challenge. Well, were you going to say?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
No. So, well, if anybody here wants to know more about it, about get the Tastytrade platform, we'll post a link up there so everybody can get there. Rich, can you post a link if everyone wants to get a demo? Could they get a free demo on that?
Sure. Anyway, and anybody who wants can email me, Tom at Tasty Live, anytime you want. I'm a junkie.
How do you answer all those emails? I've said that question.
It's a sickness. It's a legit sickness. I probably should be in a psychiatric ward of some, what is it? Bellevue, right? I should be in the psychiatric ward of Bellevue, as my mom used to say, um, because it is legit a sickness. But I will be.
I don't know how you answer it.
Yeah, it's a sickness. But feel free to send me whatever you
So
want.
before you go, Tom, yeah, there's the link. We'll just post it there, right there. So Tom, before you go, I got a couple of rapid questions I have to ask you.
Fire away.
All right.
Yeah.
Black and white cookies or rainbow cookies?
Oh, black and white.
Okay.
But don't get me
bagel
wrong.
Or
I like a rainbow cookie.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. All right. Do you like? Is it bagel or Italian bread?
Oh, bagel.
All right. Is it an Aston Martin or Ferrari?
Ooh, I've never been in either one.
I thought I saw one in your driveway.
No. Aston Martin or Ferrari? No, I've never been in a Ferrari or an Aston Martin. I don't know. I don't think I could pick an Aston Martin out. I'd go Aston Martin. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what it looks like, but no.
All right. Last one. New York pizza or Chicago pizza?
Okay, this is going to be very controversial because I grew up in New York, but I've been in Chicago now 40 years. I hate to do this to you New Yorkers. They just opened a Prince Street Pizza in Chicago from New York, and I have to tell you, I think it was one of the worst pieces of pizza I've ever had. I'm going all in.
You don't like the Ronies? You don't like the pepperonis that they put on that?
No, I didn't like it at all. It was gooey.
They put the zillion pepperonis on it.
Yeah, I know. I got it. I'm good at eating that stuff. I'm gonna say I'm going all in on Chicago.
All right.
Just
well,
the depth.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. He just broke it. He just broke it. Tom's a big foodie like me too. So if anybody doesn't know, for some reason, every time I'm at a restaurant, he just happened to be at the same place whenever when he's in town. He said, "Well, just eat with me, Fausto, just to make it easier." But Tom, listen, thanks for coming on. It was great. But Tom, thanks so much for coming on here, and look forward to having you on again. And everyone, thanks. If you have any questions, please scan that QR code, and definitely try Tom's the Tastytrade platform. He's been doing it, working forever. Love it. I love using it myself. All right, Tom. Any last minute questions? Any last minute advice you want to give anybody for all the traders?
No, just thanks so much for giving me a chance just to meet all these people. And I didn't read the comments or because we were just doing other things, but thanks so much for everything. And you and I have been friends for a long time. Hopefully we get to keep doing this into perpetuity. And everybody else out there, you have any questions or questions about trading, questions about markets, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm always around. Take care, everybody, and good luck trading.
Thanks, Tom. Have a good one, everyone.